How you doing, Jared?
I live a very busy life.
It looks like it. You in Wally World?
Yeah. I did a time management sheet the other day, and I have 160 of my 168 hours a week booked.
Wow.
I got to return some clippers that I just got an hour ago.
Oh, wow.
What's Seth doing?
I don't know. I'm waiting to get on for him to come on here. This is his gig.
He's having a hard time today. I think he's a little anxious about this class, too. This one specifically.
Oh, yeah? Darlene. Hey, Darlene.
Hey, I just got this like an hour ago, and it shouldn't have passed quality control. I guess they don't have somebody standing by to get the zip code done.
What's wrong with it?
Pulling. Bad.
How are you, Darlene?
I'm doing just awesome.
Honest frog hair? Go get my
And
phone.
why does Jared have a mask on?
There's $31.97.
Thank you. I'm at Walmart.
I don't shop anywhere that requires me to wear a mask.
I don't think I'm necessarily required to wear a mask, but it's awfully respectful to others to do so.
Oh, really?
Excuse me. Looking for the bench in the pharmacy to sit down and have a class. They don't have it here anymore.
Wonder where Seth's at.
I don't know.
I just told him, well, I just texted him a minute ago.
Oh yeah, they're having trouble with their internet too.
Who is?
There he is. All right, Mr. Stevens,
Hi, everybody.
how are you, sir?
Who else here? Jared. Trish ain't met it yet.
No.
Oh, no, Eloy's not coming. Well, Keith's definitely not coming. Uh,
How's your leg?
I'm actually in a better position than I was.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I took took care of things myself and did things the natural way, and stopped feeding myself with pills all month.
Uh,
So but anyway, I have when you started the class the first time, you shared something about your life that you had been through to get to where you were at, and that's how you opened up, and that's how you got everybody that was there to open up, to really look at themselves, to look at what's been inside them, destroying them and eating them alive. So I have mine, and I'm going to tell y'all tonight. So I'm going to do the exercises. I'm sitting down in a dark room because I'm kind of depressed right now. One thing that has remained constant in my entire life is that every person that I care about leaves in one way or another. Think about it. I did years in prison twice. I I spend months or weeks sometimes eating at the same table, watching the same movies, sitting next to him on the same rack, sharing a space, uh, talking to him in every count, sharing our food, sharing our coffee, you know, getting stuff off your chest. You make a lot of friends in prison, but they disappear out of nowhere all the time because jails move people around, especially private jails, or their case is done. Their time's up. Time for them to go. Once they leave, y'all, you're everything that happened in prison stayed in prison because everybody, once they're released, they leave prison behind. I actually wrote a couple people for a, few, a, f- a few months because I gave them my word I would. But the every time I would see a letter or I would start to write a letter, I would think about the nightmares 3 years that I spent incarcerated down in Kentucky, losing my best friend over and over and over and over again. And it got me thinking that I've lost my family, I've lost my mother, I've lost my daughter, I've lost my sister, I've lost two of my brothers, I've lost my uncle, which the last memory he has of me is from my bad crack days. And I didn't know that he was dead until he was 7 days in the ground from a fucking prison. There's only two people in my life that have been there. Jared was the one that gave me the news that Barry died. I broke a plexiglass screen. And I was after crying for a year and a half after I lost my daughter every morning. Getting worse and worse and worse on drugs. It, it just always happens to the person I get closest to. It always happens. You know, there was, I'm not going to say any names, but the day I met this person, she, she told me that she had finally found a home. And once she gets through this mess, she's stretched out 5 places in a horrible relationship and is a redhead ditzy to begin with. And she spent years being bred and not allowed to have friends. Or if she did, she was a whore. She would get snatched up. This dude was so violent with her that I spent our first night after the breakup sitting on the couch with my knife to make sure that she could have a peaceful night. And it helps her clean up the mess that came from her. I had to take everything off some tables because another person was too lazy to come handle their own shit before she got there. Finally got the place for the first time since she's been in her looking like a home, looking like a room. Still a little messy, kind of at that almost done unpacking packing stage. And something very unfortunate happened. And I've been fishing with her. I put up a campsite with her. The only one that I was out there with. I didn't really go out to the camping thing. I'm not. Some of you that know me for a long time, some of you know now. I'm not big about being around people, and I think it's why because I everyone I get close to leaves or I lose. So that's why I spend so much time by myself. Because I had to shut that off. Because if I turned it on, it hurts.
Seth,
I'll take physical pain over emotional pain any day. Look, I just want everybody to think about the stuff you've been through. And it's not all for nothing. I understand the value of loss so much that when I finally do have something, I I can love it and appreciate it like no other. Because I did it so many times and lost it. But that's what I've come through to get here. A lot of bad shit happens. And no matter what, you've got to keep going forward. What are you gonna do? Let it eat you up all the time? You gotta get it out. You gotta get it out of you. Process it. That's one of the most important things in help is processing what's inside you. So, did anybody read any?
You
Not
want,
likely.
do you want to admit Teresa? Seth,
Huh?
do you want to admit Teresa?
Oh yeah, Tracy was supposed to be here the whole time.
Okay. I did not record this, just so you know.
Okay.
You let me know if you want me to record something.
Oh yeah, well, always. Well, I want to do it just like you, because it's gotta be hard, because I'm sharing knowledge that can help that can help clean people, that can help clear people's bodies out, and clear their hearts, clear their minds. I love the love of my life so much that when she asked me, she told me, she said, "If you love me, you will turn around and walk away and not say another word to me." And I wanted to say something so bad, but I love her. So I shut up and I turn around and I walk away. I helped her get sober a couple months ago so that she can get back with the man that she's now in love with. Uh, we're friends. I know what we really are. She does too. But she found somebody else to love, and she is happy with it. And he's a good, clean guy, and that's all he wanted her to be was clean. And now she's achieved that. So now, if I could go through that and then do that, anyone here can do anything. You can go through anything. Stand in a room when an explosion happens, ceiling caves in, you can't see your hand in front of your face for a second. That's a story for a different time, though. Jared knows that one. Um, Tracy, he's gonna send you the recording so that you can hear what I said.
I did not record it, Seth.
Oh, you didn't record it. Shit.
Did not.
Okay, well,
Didn't think you'd want that recorded.
oh crap. Well, I definitely can't say it again the same way. I've been through it so many times. I just happen I just happen to be telling it to y'all as it's fresh to me now. As it just freshly happened. I still gotta go down there and feed the snake after we get off this meeting. I was gonna take it some fish after our friend left. She was just she should have been respectful and done what should have been right from the first place. When my brother was invited out here, he met the owner the day he came here and got her permission. So now my brother can come out here and see me anytime he wants. He's the only one that actually knows where I'm at that I see. But I did it the respectful way. She did not. She can learn from it and apologize and fix her mistake, or she's gonna stay lost. I tried texting, I called, I tried to explain to her what she had done, and I've got no answer. So, uh,
Hey, Seth, can I make a suggestion?
what's up, boo?
You were almost done with what you were saying when Teresa came on here. Did you want her to hear what you said?
I can give a quick summary. I
Why don't you do this? Well, hang on a second. It sounds like maybe you need to go straighten yourself up a little, blow your nose, and
No,
maybe
I'm
come
cool.
come come back. Take a couple minutes, okay?
No, I'm alright.
You sure?
Yeah, my nose will stay like this for
All
the
right.
next little bit
I'm
anyway.
gonna start the recording, and you go ahead and summarize what you were saying. I know I don't want you to I don't want you to miss anything. I didn't think you wanted this recorded, so I'm gonna start recording now. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I totally am full of crap. I had
That's God.
forgotten. I had
That's
forgotten that I put this on auto record. So
that's
it
God
started
right there.
automatically recording as soon as I started the meeting. So we're still recording right now. Yeah, you're good. I'm sorry.
That was God working through your hands.
So it is, yeah, it is recording. So you're good. Carry on smartly, sir.
Well, I just wanted to share something that was that has taught me such a value on what the real thing is, because it's so very rare. And that's sad in its own. What a world. You know, all she wanted to do was just live down there and be free and happy. She just wanted to be in her own little space and just live in the country. But there's certain things you gotta, I mean, you gotta have respect. You got old enough for it if you mess up. That's just the way it is. So, you don't just lose to everybody because they're taken from you or because they choose to leave. Or they do to an extent. You never know. Trish herself has had, if you don't mind me saying, Trish, her fair share of loss.
Yes, sir.
And so she knows uh, quite a bit. So, Jared, you've been through a rough life. We've all been through rough lives, and now we're coming out. We're on the other end, and we're coming together to change the meaning better, to be something pure, to be what we're meant to be honest, loving, caring, morally upright. Live Jesus his life that he did not get to live the way he would live. It's the only way out of man. That's the only way out of the man that I feel died for us. That's the only way I feel I can honor him. I'm not too good at it sometimes, and I apologize to him when I don't. I sit outside, look up at stars, and talk to him. Jesus, God, Christ, everything in the universe, the whole kit and caboodle. Some of you know what I'm talking about, some of you don't. Is that I've been visited by angels. I know the truth about what's going on. And I'm freer than I ever been. And I don't care how much it hurts my body. I will work every inch of this property rather than have to leave and go and be around other people and all their twisted, messed up emotions and being pushed around by some or stared at or eventually hated. I don't understand it. That's another thing that's happened in my life too. You know, I've been ask Jared. I've been accepted from award one with anyone I've ever met. I've never met a stranger. I can talk to anyone. That was a different thing in the beginning of my life. It's evolved into everything's changed. I've changed through my experiences, and it's through my experiences that I've learned the value of the opposite end of them. So when I see them, I can get the most out of it while it's happening. So when it leaves again, or when it happens again, I will I will be satisfied to know that I got the best. The the, the everybody here knows that I live alone rather than to live with the love of my life, and I refuse to share my bed with another woman ever. I don't want to. I tried that. It didn't work. They weren't her. They had to get out of my bed. I had to get out of my bed. They had to leave. Doesn't work. She's gone. So I didn't make friends with her. I didn't sit down at her house all night protecting her with a Bowie knife to make sure dude didn't show up out there beating on the door, breaking her stuff outside or calling her a whore. But none of them words coming out of his mouth. Nobody talk about my family like that. Nobody touch my family. When you do anything to my family, you just go through me first. And then just like it, gone. It hurts when you put your heart out there, when you truly care. Yeah, I told you, Rick, don't quit. It's just gonna keep coming. Been like it for a couple hours now. I don't expect anybody to say anything. And I know it'd be kind of hard to talk right now. And we're definitely not all face to face. So let's just think about what I said and know that there's something inside you that's eating you up that you have to figure out. And that book will tell you how to do it. there are some other components, but that book's a guide to finding it. I'd say it's gonna get rid of it, but things do get better. And this too shall pass. One day at a time, you know, other slogans. But I'm not, I'm not, I'm not a part of that life no more. I'm not a living addict no more. I'm finally, I took my Suboxone and Xanax and I tossed them over in the corner tonight. They're just there for just a withdrawal purposes, only just a tiny bit of each time it happens, because the withdrawal is going to be so severe on one that it could go for a couple months.
Hey, be
Uh,
careful.
I know you know, Jared.
Hey, hold on. You gotta be
I've
careful.
been, I know, I've already been tapering off for weeks.
All right, because I tapered off and I went through withdrawals for a month and a half, and they were extreme.
I know. That's why.
And
That's why I've been.
Xanax will kill you if you go cold turkey off of those.
I know. I I ran a little short 1 month, and my panic attacks increased significantly, and my
They have,
nightmares have been back. But I've had my medicine for a month. I have been I have I have medicine to take now, but I'm done with that. I'm not. I'm done stuffing pills now. My pills are not the answer. God gave us the answer, and He put it in the ground to grow.
hey, when people get off of Xanax, like in rehab and stuff, they put people in medical detox in a hospital for that. So I don't know what you've taken or when the last time you took a Xanax was, but you got to be watched.
Yeah, you do.
I've been doing this my entire life.
I don't mean it won't kill you.
I've been tapering for 5 months.
After class, I want to call and talk to you about I guess how much you've taken and stuff, and try to run it by somebody.
I've been on it for 3 years. I mean, I think 5 months is going too fast. And a lot of that time I had to take a little bit more than I needed, because it wasn't always, I couldn't always get my hand on on, on, on God's remedy. You know what I did today? Despite a hernia, fucked up back, and two messed up legs, I helped get a place that was completely tore apart presentable in 20 minutes. I had sweat pouring off me. I had for a little bit now, a little stiff, but I always pay for things afterwards. But it's okay. God's taking care of that too.
May I add something?
Yeah, you can.
There is something that I've come to understand about what helps lead us into a place of darkness with drugs and a lot of other things that takes us down that path. There are humans who come here with a heart and a love for others that is broad and deep and open. And I was one of those people too, I believe that, and I still am, that is brought here to have an open heart with love and caring, empathy for all that they meet and all that they come across. And what happens is there are people who don't understand the love that we're trying to bring to them. And they are dark and they can't accept us. And so they bully us, they manipulate us, they twist our thinking, they introduce us to things that try to change our minds, try to change our hearts. They drug us, they hurt us, and they put us into a box. And we sometimes don't survive it. And then there's those of us that do survive it, who come out of that dark place that we were guided into by these people that don't understand the God-given love that we bring to the earth to deliver to other people. And we're ridiculed for it, just as Jesus was, just as others were. So, my friend, what I just want to say to you is that you are one of those angel hearts that came here to deliver your heart and your love to others, and you were damaged for the effort. Instead of being embraced and awarded and celebrated for your love and kindness, you were destroyed. They tried to destroy you. It hasn't worked, but it hurt you deeply. And so we know now that we have to have our shield of energy around us to protect us intuitively, so that we can shield ourselves from that damage further going forward, which I think is something that you've been working on and that I think we're all working on. And so we have to, when we are chemically induced to be dependent, and unfortunately we have to be chemically induced to come off of that shit. But Seth, I just want you to know that I think that everybody sitting here tonight is very proud of you and very caring for what you've been going through. And it sounds like that your brother Jared has gone through some of the same deal. I went through it many years ago, and still to this day, I fight some of the dark energy that tries to pull me down. But there are a lot of people who have big hearts that were brought here with an angel heart that was destroyed. And that's why we're here with hope. Because when we honestly assess to get back to where it is that we were supposed to be, and we can forgive those who destroy us or try to destroy us, we can forgive ourselves for what we might have done. Because like with me, I destroyed a lot of people around me when I was hurt so bad, when people were trying to take me down. I took a lot of people down with me. I hurt a lot of people. And so I went through a long time of trying to be forgiven and forgiving others. And so anyway, I don't want to take away from your class, Seth.
I can totally sympathize with that. I'm never going to find common ground with my mother again. I had to say goodbye.
Yeah, I understand.
That shit sucks.
Well,
But it's accepted. But it's you 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 know, when my grandmother passed, I remember the night. I remember it in detail. I remember the tear that rolled down her face. I remember the guy I chased into his train that was running his mouth outside. I remember everything. I remember going to my uncle's I I don't have much of a memory. Uh, my mom doesn't even. She does not see me for who I am at all.
You got to
She's
remember
got
something. You got to remember this. And this is something that I
either.
try to help people get through with their parents. They put you where you are.
No, she didn't. Trust
Understand?
me.
No, wait. Let me finish. Let me finish. I know you love your mom, but you got to understand something. This is something that I had to come through with my mom. You were born of some people, and you were raised to some degree by some people, and you were put into an environment by some people. So there are people who are culpable to a large degree of where you ended up.
I don't blame
They
my
can't
mom.
they can't shed that responsibility. And so when we're moving forward with our lives, we have to forgive, right? But we also, as you're moving forward with the people that you're getting involved with again, because you will get involved with people again, Seth. I know you. You're not going to be able to help yourself because you're too much of a loving human being. But they have to be responsible and accountable for where they're going. They may not have been completely responsible and accountable for their early life, but just like you're taking a responsibility and accountability for where you have been in your adult life, and you're also taking responsibility and accountability for where you're going now, these people that you're going to associate with and that you're going to be around at some point, you got to be very diligent and very cautious to make sure they understand that you know that they're not victims, that they are responsible and accountable for what they're doing going forward, right? So you protect your heart, you help where you can, but love from a distance, my friend.
Ain't no way to live.
Huh?
Do you know how that is? I spend 98% of my time in my bedroom in front of a fan watching a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't. I, I I can't go around people. I feel too much of their pain on top of mine. I can't. I can't shut it off. I've got my empathic. I felt the instant somebody hit a
Yeah.
anxiety, a spike of anxiety earlier. I mean, like it's so sensitive for the people who are really hurt deep. Really, it's like oh yeah, like I've had enough of my own. I don't need yours. I don't need everybody's too. But I, I I'm not saying that like I would never not help somebody. I would help anybody. I would definitely stand up for a helpless stranger. I stop pick a turtle up off the road, carry it across the street so it don't get run over. And my mom thinks I'm the worst person on the planet. That's a pretty hard pill to swallow, especially when she's in control of my only child. This too shall pass.
Yeah.
Everything's a lesson. Everything you go through, everything you're going through in life is a lesson. Because how are you gonna be when it's nothing but the good? When you have all that loss to remember, you can feel that good, and feeling like no other person's ever felt it because you felt the opposite so much. I just now got so I had two, three people notice just they're still around me, and I'm not used to that. So I'm kind of standoffish. I think it's because the closer I get, the better chance I have of losing. I don't know. Maybe it's a defense mechanism that I need to work on personally. Maybe I needed to share this with y'all tonight because I still have work myself to do on it.
Take your time. Just take your time. None of us are going anywhere. None of us are going anywhere. We've got things to do together. We're not in any rush to go anywhere. We've got communities to build. We've got people to coach. Darlene's here. I'm here. Jared's here. Teresa's here. You're here. We got things to do, man. So
Any of you know you can call and get advice. I'll help anybody you can.
You heard me often say, let go and let God.
Let go and let God. Amen. It's in good hands, then. I haven't felt as free as I do right now that I have in my entire life. I've been a slave to something. A slave to the man, a slave to the system, a slave to the drug, a slave to the addict, a slave. I've been a slave to everyone. But
So
I made it through.
what does Luke 10:19 tell you?
I kind of felt like Job for a long time. Oh, I pushed the demons out. I felt like I was Job. Job was tested by every single person he ever cared about was killed, and he was plagued with diseases. I've got scars all over my legs from 2 years of living at my mom's house, where I developed the habit of picking my scabs. And I've got
And you no
scars
longer do
everywhere.
that now. You no longer do that now.
Sometimes it's my legs are good, but I've got one on my head. I just won't let go. It's become a habit. It's a bad habit. But
And you know how to stop that is just cover it with something.
I tried that. I put the nastiest thing I could think of on there. When I wake up in the morning, it's the first thing my hand touches, and I just can't. There's just something about a scab sticking that far up off my head that I just have to pull it off. I can't. It just. I'll sit there and touch it and touch it and touch it until I'm flat peeling my scalp off.
I don't think that's any different than the rest of us, man. I can't stand to have a scab on my body. I'll pick at that damn thing till it comes off.
I
That's
went through a
why.
lot of them this summer.
That's why you keep them covered.
I got bit by a lot of bugs this summer. Poison ivy a couple times too. And two prior to that, while at mom's, it was a really rough. I thought I really believed when I was in that cell, like I was on the verge of dying. I went jaundice, and I was so weak I could barely stand up, and my pee was so dark that you couldn't see anything else in the toilet. and my entire body was yellow, my eyes were yellow, and I talked to my mom for the first time in like a year. I'm in the third year of my uh, sentence. Uh, I signed the extra time to stay in so that I could be released a free man instead of being released and going underneath the thumb, because I learned it took me 15 years to get out of the Indiana system because they kept putting up they kept putting me out where they wanted to control me, and I don't do well with being controlled. I have to be able to control myself, and that's what my battles with addiction taught me. If I can fight myself on that, anything. I have it's there's not it's not I see. This is what mom gets mad about because I I glorify it sometimes. When I started out on my mission with drugs, it was the happiness that I felt that was the opposite of the loss that I felt while I was doing good drugs and loving good people. And I'm like, I should have been hippie, but I don't know. I think that story went south though. Drugs always they always go south. Drugs and alcohol always go south. But I think that what Oregon's doing is a uh, good idea, though, because people's problem with drugs, and this is how I learned. I learned everything there is to know about drugs by going through my experiences with them. Now, by legalizing the drug, they can ensure that every content is the same, and that each heroin shooter takes, and not getting some really good from a guy who usually gets twice stomped on cut and do a shot that they think they need to do in order to get where they need to go, but they're shooting high grade. They're never going to see anything else for the rest of their life. They're dead.
Yeah, there's a
Le-
couple of countries now that do that. They have what is it? I can't remember the name of the country now, but there's one in Europe that they do that where they have it's controlled, and they actually have these shops where people can go to get their fix every day, and they live a normal life. You know,
That's
uh,
Amsterdam, and the drug usage, the hard drug usage actually went down after that.
right.
Yep. Yeah, Netherlands and Amsterdam, both that area.
Anyway, Seth, what else you got tonight, buddy?
I do have one more thing. I've had a thought that has been on my mind because I experimented with it a couple times in the previous years, and it's I've lived with my physical pain and what I carry inside to process and go through and all that, and what I go through when it happens, on how I get through it, all that. But uh, I did a test study on methamphetamines, on the amount. Now, the amount that I was doing when I was being stupid was a half gram shooting uh, intravenously. Now, um, my very first test was I was in the Owensboro jail, and some came in, and it was a 30-man cell, and there was only enough for 6 people to have a very small prison line. Jared, you know what I'm talking about. I don't think you. I don't know if you. I don't know if you've been to Rick prison. Have you? That's kind of a personal question. No, don't answer that. Um, but I got to be fortunate enough to have to get in on that, and got in trouble. Went to the hole because I was picking in a tattoo on my knee called Hood Honky. I put the H's together. I've got HOO going over and HON going down when all of the cops came in because they saw me sitting behind a blanket doing something underneath the light. I was geeking. I didn't know. I didn't know that I was making myself that obvious. That was the problem with doing. I did more that night because the one person that brought some in only had what he had, but the guy that was in the rack next to me that had become my friend, who I ate breakfast with, who I ate lunch with, who I ate dinner with, who I kick back and watch TV with, the friend. Well, the friend just happened to get his hands on about a ball and gets and goes in the bathroom and lays me on a line that just peels me back. And I got stupid. But for the first few hours of that experiment, when I was on that tiny dose, I was not paranoid but focused. I didn't feel the pain in my body, and I could get up and move freely. So that got me to thinking. So I've had multiple tests where small amounts of dope have been administered to go for a one-time daily dose type deal to eliminate pain and give you back your 25-year-old body for the day. And then at the end of the day is the end of the day. Get yourself something to eat and drink and go to bed.
That's how
But
Matt got him put in jail.
huh?
That's where Matt went wrong.
I've been successful with it 4 times. I got a little out of control a couple or like 3 years ago though. Went a little bit too close to the edge. There's a very fine line to control such a powerful narcotic. It's the second most powerful narcotic I've encountered. Believe it or not, crack just I didn't care how I got the money to get it. I didn't care. I lost my entire family over it. I attempted suicide several times. I hit rock bottom in an empty apartment that was across from a bilo that I shoplifted my dinner and food for 6 months before I wrote a suicide note to everybody I was sorry to in a different color and then took 200 sleeping pills.
At some point, a person's got to say to themselves, I just need to stay the hell away from all of that shit. I mean, honestly, there are people who can maybe withstand a life of that, but then there's other people that just need to stay away from it because it's going to end up killing them.
So ones that go over, it's when you go overboard that you lose control. Because I've lost control too. I've lost control. I, I lost control. I was 9 months clean before my daughter was born, and I was working 2 jobs, I had everything she needed. I had all her clothes. I had everything. And I moved us into a 1-bedroom apartment. Was all I could afford at the time. And me and my wife and my newborn were going to live there. And I was going to have a family. Well, I moved us into an apartment building that just so happened to be the owner was employing one of the renters into cooking dope in the apartment 2 doors down from mine. So I'm done working a double, getting ready and going for another double, and I'm sitting outside smoking. I was so serious about my daughter being that nobody smoked in the house. And this guy walks up to me and says, "Damn, you look tired." I told him that I'd been working my ass off. Told him I had a little girl on the way. And he reaches into his pocket and he throws a half gram of fresh raw that he cooked the night before. Less than 5 minutes that was in my veins. And 3 months later, my daughter was no longer accessible to me. A half gram is too much. It will have serious repercussions.
Well, I'm not your counselor. I'm not your physician, but it sounds to me like that, Seth, you just need to stay away from it altogether, dude.
No, I'm fine with it. That's my point.
Right.
I've come to peace with it. I I I I I had to beat it to win. I'm not one of the ones that can make it through AA. I I'm the
Seth,
person
I
where
have company now, so I've got to do that. So I'll leave this on here so I can, if there's anything in the text or whatever, but I do have to,
Yeah, we need to wrap it up. Yeah.
yeah, I'm on the phone with the delegate call, and Chris and them just came in, so I will talk with you later.
See you
God
later,
bless
darling.
you. So I'm here.
Anything else tonight, Seth?
I had to gain mastery to gain control. I don't do it anymore because I choose not to. But that's how I finally won.
Yeah. Good job, man.
I shook my entire life and I've lost everybody I loved about learning how to do it, but I did it. It wasn't bad. It wasn't so bad in the beginning. There were some good times. I remember some times where we played music on ecstasy. There, I was playing that guitar like I was on stage in front of thousands and hitting every note, making it go exactly with the song. And we were all, it just, as we
I
played it
think we
for
can all
hours,
relate. Yeah,
and it
I
just,
can relate.
the melody was, we just got lost in it, and it was awesome.
Anyway, Seth, I got to go.
I will see y'all next week. Next week, y'all do have your reading done then. And nobody ever gets it done on the first week. I didn't. Nobody else did the first time. Nobody else did the second time. Everybody always gets it the second time because they are engaged in a story that opens you up. So I've engaged you with a story to open you up. Now read. I love you all.
Love you too, buddy.
Love you too.
Okay.
Love you guys.
Night, y'all.
See ya.